This is the FSU School of Theater Scene Shop training video on the 12-inch sliding compound miter saw. This saw, when you find it in its condition, should be locked down, pushed down on the front of it, and pull out on this metal pin back here. That will allow it to spring up into position. Some of the safety features for this tool are the blade guard here. Make sure that that works properly and is in position. Don't ever take it out of position manually. Leave it so that it does its work. This tool, when on, will operate the dust collection system in the shop. If this is the first and only tool that's on, give it a little bit when you turn it on before you make your cut, because it does take a little while before the system can get the signal all the way from here to turn all of the things on. When you operate this tool, you've got your hand on the trigger here to operate it, and your other hand can be in one of the hands-free areas. Do not put your hands close to the blade in the hands-free indicated areas, the hand with the line through it. Don't be in there. Also, make sure that you've got one hand on the saw and one hand on the material, tight to the table, tight to the fence, before you make your cut. You can come straight down for a cut, that's just fine. You can also come out, down, and back with this, since it is a sliding feature. Make sure that before you make your cut, the saw blade gets up to speed. You'll hear it when it gets all the way up to speed, and then make your cut. If you don't do that, it's bad for the blade, bad for the motor, and you won't get a good cut. When you position your hands, you've got one hand on the tool, one hand outside of the hands-free indicated area, tight to the table, tight to the fence. Do not cross your arms. That is an unsafe practice. This is okay, and this is okay, but don't cross your arms. If you need to change the angle of the cut, you can change the angle here by releasing and pulling up on this lever. So you loosen this, pull up on that, and then it'll slide to where you want it to go. Some places it will drop in, still tighten it. Other places it will not drop in. Make sure you tighten that so that it stays in position for your cut. To lower the body of the saw to make a cut in that direction, first thing, pull these aluminum pieces out of the way. Very important, otherwise it can cut into those and cause damage to those and the blade. On the back side of the tool, where my hand is, there's a black lever. Push that out of the way, and then you can push the saw over to where you want to. There are scales on both sides because this saw can tilt in both directions. To go the other way, you need to go a little bit to the left and then pull out on the zero stop, which is right here on this black paddle where my finger is. Pull that out towards you, and then it will let it go down to the right side. When you have the angle that you want, again, indicated by the scale, lock that handle, that black handle, in place, and it'll hold the tool where you want it. To do a compound miter, you've got that angle and this angle locked in place. Compound miter, slide it, compound miter. When you're done with angles, set everything back to 0. So that's back at 0, and then undo the handle, push it toward the left so that you're out of the way of the zero stop. You can push the zero stop back in and then let it drift back to 0, lock it in. If you're done with these, push those in as well. This saw also has a laser function. On the side of the tool here, there's a button. You can flip that switch and it'll turn on the laser, which is right here, and it will project a laser image across here. You can micro adjust this. There is a knob on the side here, so you can adjust the laser to be on the right or the left or middle or whatever you want for indicating where you're cutting. This way you can make better use of which side is your kept material, which side is your waste, and where the kerf is going to be by locating that laser position. If you need to change the blade or do any service to this equipment, make sure you unplug it. Make sure you move that fence away if you're going to lay down the saw. There is a hold down pin available. You can use that to hold down material as well. And then there's other types of jigs that are useful for other types of cutting operation. But make sure that you keep your hands away from the saw and you don't cross your arms or do anything that is different from what we talked about here. Utilize all your safeguards and make sure you get good clean cuts.